All right, crew, we are back. The other week I did a video installing the Spiritus Systems CCS pouch onto the Mark V placard, walking through installing the molly webbing and walking through the CCS pouch. On that particular video, I did explain I had some additional parts coming for a Spiritus Systems Thing 2 build out. So I'm going to set this to the back now. We will run through what all parts I got for my Thing 2 build out. So I have the fat strap, the Mark IV version. Obviously you can use the standard fat strap or the Mark IV version for a setup like this. We'll set this to the side. We need that in a few minutes. And then we have our back strap. This one lists woodland, but this is a Ranger green. I needed a woodland for a woodland setup. So either way, it is a back strap in Ranger green to match the setup. Set that to the side. I did get a Spiritus Systems JSTA pouch, as well as a Spiritus Systems small GP pouch. So the small GP pouch is going to go on my right side, the JSTA pouch on the left side of the Thing 2. And here is the Spiritus Systems Thing 2. So let's go ahead, I'll get this out of the packaging here. Take it off screen and just pull it out. And we'll get over after off to the side. So, give a quick overview of this. But we do have our loop on the front. We have our 2 radio pouches, one on either side. You can see the bungees are not installed, so that is something that we have to do as well. And then on the bottom of this, if you are running a dangler, I normally on my plate carrier and my Mark IV chest rig setup, I run my dangler right here off of it. However, Spiritus Systems does have a little pocket here that you can actually put your dangler into the back of the Thing 2, so it is separate from where your placard is mounting. As far as, we'll do these first. So as far as getting these guys mounted, you do want to loop these through. They're going to go behind here. I'll show you in a second here once I get this through. So they're going to go through, and you're going to go around this particular portion of the actual Thing 2. So that first little molly webbing. Oops, actually I did forget to skip that step here, guys. We do want to put our little tab on top. Got to get this open just enough so you can slide these through. And then once you are in there, pull that through. And then again, we're going to go down here. Run these through. I'll just pop them down there on the edge so we can actually grab them when we need them in a second. Now we have our little pull tab, and then we're going to go ahead and install these guys. It's probably a vital starting point, because once you start putting the pouches on, the molly webbing is going to be in the way. So balance these out, and then we will tie a knot to make sure that doesn't slide out on us. All right, so we got one down. Let's take a look at it here. So again, this is going to be kind of behind your pouches, so it's going to be you're going to have to reach back there to actually adjust that once you are in there. But that is how Spiritus Systems shows it mounted on their site. So go ahead and do this other one a little quicker for us here, and we can jump into the actual mounting of the pouches. Now that we got this down, pull this through. Again, we're going to grab our tab here, slide these two through, pull that through, down here. One tip just to make sure they don't, pull through or anything is just bring them up over this, and then obviously we're going to want them about even. Go ahead and put this guy on there. Bingo. That is now installed. We will tie a knot. All right, so now we got this one on there, we've got this one on there, and we can jump into mounting our pouches again. So on the right side here, I'm going to go ahead and mount the small GP pouch. I did purchase all of my Spiritus off of Brownell's. I do have codes in the links down below if you are interested in picking up some of their equipment. I know Spiritus stuff can be kind of hard to come by, and I have had pretty good luck with Brownells, but I mean, again, Spiritus is, it's hard to come by, so you do run into those situations where things are out of stock. So this is our small GP pouch. We'll take a look at the inside. I have another one of these that I actually store my PVS 14 night vision in. So in that one, I actually have the padded insert. I didn't snag one for this one just yet, but may wind up doing that in the near future. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here. These are looking like you need to go over the top and then through. So let me start there. I'm going to start up here. We're going to go down through, get both straps through because we do want to make sure. All right, there we go. All right, so kind of clear view on what we're doing here. From there, we're going to have to loop back into the molly webbing of the pouch. And we're going to do the same on the other side. All right, so now we've got that mounted. So over the top, down into the first slit on either side, and then from there we are going to need to, so it's going to get a little tight and a little harder to show, but we're going to start to web both of these through the next slot on the thing too. So back down through here, and then we're going to come up and back into the pouch itself. You can kind of see here, as I mentioned, the adjustment here is going to get tucked in. We'll see how that looks when we finish up. But for right now, here's where we are. This is going to obviously pull through. Oops. This one did back out a little bit, so we're going to give that another little nudge to get it through. And we are through. Now from there, we're going to go back under and back out. Need to make sure we get all of the slack that's in this webbing pulled through for us to properly secure the bottom of the pouch here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to, there we go. Okay, now we've got that through. So I should then be able to, well, let's finish the other one up, make sure I've got, all right, so this one we need to go through the bottom just like we did with the other one. We are then going to take these tabs at the end of the moly webbing and put them back into the bottom slit here on the pouch. And that is how we are going to secure them. All right, so there we go. And then this one, make sure this one got all the slack out. And it starts to get a little tight around at this point, guys, so I'm gonna force this one a little more. But I'm just gonna fold this up and over and in. Yeah, this one's fighting us a little bit. It's got a fair amount of, it's tight. All right, we are in, so I'm just going to push that now in, and that is going to lock that into place. Oh yeah, now it cleanly locked in. So we've got our small GP pouch mounted. Pretty excited to get this thing going. Let's get our JSTA. This is the first time I'm actually pulling this out of the bag. Have not owned the JSTA before. I've got a couple of their Mark IV placards. I've got their 556 placard, and as I mentioned, pouch-wise, I've used their small GP pouch mostly for my night vision storage. The JSTA pouch does have a slot in the back here, which I will likely put a 556 single mag insert into. And let's see what we got going on inside. So we do have a divider. We do have some loop in there, so you could put other attachments in there to be able to secure, you know, multi-tool or flashlight or something of that nature. The nice thing about this particular setup, thing too, and I did get some comments around the gear belly, in particular with the CCS pouch, which it does add a fair amount to the front. But for this kind of setup, if you are somebody that is doing hunting, I mean, this is honestly a great setup for somebody that's hunting and hiking into the woods and wants to have all of their equipment, you know, front and center. Obviously, there is the, you know, tactical aspect of using a setup like this as well, but being able to have a small GP pouch, whether for night vision, whether for binoculars, this setup gives you that capability, plus the capability, I mean, that CCS pouch can be used for medical. You don't have to haul the dangler at that point. So again, it's all, that's the great thing about Spiritus stuff, is just the modularity and being able to make things kind of mission specific as to what you are doing. So I really wanted to just check this thing out because I mean, I've seen them set up. I've seen folks have been using them in a hunting setting with this particular setup, and it kind of caught my eyes. Do I do much hunting? Not really, but I am eyeing doing a little bit more. I did tried to hunt some turkey a couple years back. Didn't go too well. Actually had a big tom in sight, and happened that there was somebody else hunting pretty close that wound up bagging him, unfortunately. So, but this setup is going to be, you can see we got our webbing just about through. Make sure we get the tension out of that. We're now going to go through the last piece down here at the bottom. And actually, it might be easier to start from this side and then work out. I think I did the reverse on the last one. Oops. Make sure to get all that slack out of it, and then we're just going to go ahead and go right back into that last slit there to lock this into place. But yeah, I've been eyeing, you know, getting back out turkey hunting. I also have a raccoon problem that needs to be addressed. And again, using something like this in kind of a night vision setting, and I've got all my, you know, gear up front that I could use, whether it be, you know, thermal monocular, or if I'm using it in a daytime setting, again, like turkey or something, I can have binoculars and other equipment in these pouches for that particular use. All right, it looks like this last one is gonna fight me a little bit again. I think it's getting kind of hung up. Let's see if we go in the pouch here and help. See if we can help guide it from the inside. Not so much, but there we go. All right, well, I think we hit the last spot that we were getting hung up on. All right, so there is getting our pouches mounted on either side, the MOLLE webbing. We have our, you know, radio slots are now hooked up with the bungees. And again, we do have the adjustment for that is tucked down. So once ultimately you get set up, you're likely going to have this dialed to where you want it, and you won't be messing around with it much. And let's see, can you access it from the... Trying to see how we can... this one's a little... Okay, it is a little hung up, so you'd have to go... Let's see, guys, because that is a bit of an interesting setup once you put the pouches on to be able to tighten down these particular bungees. In fact, I'm finding, I mean, I can feel it. And looking down the side here, I can actually see the knot. It'd be hard to catch this on camera, but I'll tell you what, we're going to move forward with getting the rest of this set up. But do note that you're likely going to want to try to dial these into whatever equipment you are using, because getting to the adjustment is going to be a little tricky. On this side, I can actually make it out a little better. So you can see I got that one down. This one's hung up, so I got to just work it free like this. And then, yeah, you should be able to go in and, you know, pull that, adjust it, and get it to where you need it to be. So I'll work on that other one off camera, so that we can get it the same as on the side of the JSTA. But once you're in this configuration, guys, you're in the home stretch. So we have our back strap, and back strap is, this one's already been adjusted because I did use this on that woodland setup that I mentioned, which is a Mark IV placard. I really like the Mark IV placards. Mostly use them. I have the woodland, I have the multicam, and then I have the Ranger, which was the first one that I purchased. All right, so obviously when you go to put this on you, you're not going to clip both, but for the sake of the video, I'm not having this flapping around. This is how this goes. Then we have our Mark IV Fat strap. So the Mark IV, in comparison to the older strap, if you don't know, they used to just have you know, elastic band across here. This one actually has MOLLE on it. So I think it's kind of preference there. I have had some folks reach out and tell me they really like the original style, and that style is basically impossible to find at this point. So, but this is what we've got. These guys are going to go, start this way. So if this is going across our back, we're going to go ahead and mount. What did I do? I think I got the wrong side there doing this, looking at it reversed. Oh, nope, I had it. All right, cool. So we're going to mount these on here. And again, understanding that throwing this on yourself, you're likely going to have one side unclipped. So this is just for the sake of showing assembly on the the video here, and I do got to adjust the straps on this still. Now the top portion is going to be reliant on, you've got to have your placard on there for these mounting points. So from there, I'm going to go back to the fat strap, and we are going to go ahead and clip this guy on. That's one, and we've got two. So nice clean little setup. You got your molly webbing on the front here of the fat strap, the Mark IV. You do have your, of course, department or agency mounting point of loop back here. I always put something funny back there. Dirty Civilian had some patches that were just the right size to throw on there, so I've run those. I've had some custom ones made up that I threw on there, but that's what we've got, guys. So I've got our small GP, we've got our Mark V with the CCS on the front, and we've got our JSTA pouch. The JSTA, like I said, I got a little bit of tweaking I'm going to do on this one. Probably throw a single 5.56 pouch in here, and then again on the back side, or the inner side of the Thing too, we have our radio pouches or similar that you could throw in there, Red Bull, something, or I think everybody's on, White Monsters right now, throwing those in there. I think it's actually about the right size for that. So, but yeah, guys, that is what we've got. And again, you do have the capability of throwing a dangler, actually, and leaving it attached to the Thing too, a little bit more streamlined, being that it is behind versus having it on the front end right against the Mark V. And I do got to tweak that. Now it looks like that's not completely flush, but there we go. Better. All right, so now we're in business there, guys. That's happening. I'm digging how that looks. This is exactly what I was after. I had seen it elsewhere, this exact configuration, and I just loved it. So stoked to get this together, hopefully use it hunting, even out at the range. Again, I mean, Spiritus stuff being so modular, you can change it up to what exactly you're doing. And I picture using this out, night vision, having all my stuff right up front. I do have my electrical tape here. I may change this up. I've had that on there for a little bit. I did see somebody that actually offers a molly web mounted tape, and it was kind of a cool design, so I may snag one of those up. But yeah, I am pretty stoked looking at this on my workbench right now. This turned out really well. Now just to do the the finishing touches of the little add-ons like the mag insert, and potentially something like the electrical tape. So I will catch you guys later, though. Again, if you check down in my campsite link down below, you're going to find codes, various different vendors that I work with. The Spiritus products I've all purchased over at Brownells. Additionally, you'll find down below a link to my other socials, as well as a podcast that I have with my buddies. It's called Shooting the Shit. And yeah, check those out. Subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Run suppress. Stay blessed.